Well, hello everybody and welcome to the studio. And today I'm delighted to welcome Ian Parker from Henchards. Now, Ian, you help owner-managers of small businesses improve the value of their business.
I do.
Yeah, can you tell me a bit more about that? It sounds fascinating.
Yes, people start businesses for lots of different reasons. I mean, one is for building value, for some wealth creation later in their lives. Other people build businesses for just the opportunity and the lifestyle. If you're looking to build value over time, then there are ways in which you can run your business to maximise the value and get the best out of it, so that when you come to the end of your working life, you're getting the wealth that you desire from having run the business for many years.
By selling it?
Eventually by selling it,
yeah.
Yes. I mean, most businesses have the potential to be sold for some value.
Yes.
And how you run the business over the period of years that you're looking after it will determine how much value you get from it.
Yeah.
So what I do is help business owners focus on the things that increase the value of their business over the time, so that all the effort, the time, the money, the blood, sweat and tears they put into running the business really does yield something at the end of the day.
I speak to a lot of business owners who come through here and in other places, and I run my own business, and I've noticed that, for me anyway, sometimes it's very difficult to accept advice, and it's certainly very difficult to seek it out sometimes, because it feels like, you know, if I'm running my own business, I should know what I'm doing. Do you find that when you're talking to people?
Yes, very frequently. I think if you've set up a business and you've run it, and whether it's been successful or it's been a real difficult period, the fact that you're running a business makes you feel as though you should know how to do it, and seeking advice can be a little bit difficult. But if you look at any great performers in any sphere, whether it's in arts or sport and in business, those that really rise to the top are those that have taken advice from people outside. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Well, firstly, that as a business owner, you've not necessarily been trained to run a business. You may well have fantastic expertise in a particular product or service or capability, but the running of the business is not something you've necessarily been trained in. Secondly, as an individual, how can anyone have all the experiences that you need to deal with any situation or circumstance that your business comes across? I mean, you can't. So seeking external support and advice is a very good way of accelerating the growth of your business, foreseeing some of the problems that might be coming along, and also looking at different opportunities that other industries and other people can bring to help you.
I think for a lot of people it's very easy to get so close to the nuts and bolts of the business that it becomes difficult to see which direction is next. Yes,
it does. I mean, a business is not necessarily an easy thing to run, particularly in the early stages. So you're focused on a lot of things, and if it's the first business that you've run, you've got a lot of areas to look at in terms of managing the cash in the business. You may be recruiting people and managing people for the first time. You've got suppliers to manage, as well as looking for and looking after your customers and clients. There's a lot of things to look after at one time. And what I provide is help to business owners in really three areas. The first is improving the performance of the company. So looking at the things that make the cash flow more predictable and secure, the growth and profitability better for the business, helping with things like the recruitment and management of teams, looking at the acquisition of clients and how you keep them and look after the most profitable clients. So that's the first area, is really improving the performance. The second area is that many businesses can grow quite quickly in the early days, but often they start to hit a bit of a ceiling, and you start repeating the same sales and marketing activity, but they don't have the same results in terms of the growth. So an area that I look at with a lot of my clients is different ways of growing a business. So rather than just repeating the same sales and marketing activity, we'll look at different sales and marketing strategies. We'll look at the potential to acquire a business, which even for small companies is a viable way of growing. But there may be some products and services that you have within the company that could be licensed, so another way of growing, or potentially a joint venture. So it's not just about repeating sales and marketing activity, there's lots of different ways of growing. So that's the second area that I focus on. And the third is preparing a business for eventual sale. So this is the area of succession planning and exit planning, helping the business grow in a way that makes it as attractive as possible to a future buyer. Now, people say to me, well, I'm not really looking to sell my business in the near term. And I said, no, that's fine. Exit planning isn't necessarily about short-term activity. In fact, the longer you take to look at and build your exit plan, the better it's going to be. And even if you don't have any immediate plans to sell, the things that a buyer would look for in a business that would make it attractive to them are things like a profitable track record, good future prospects, a good management team. Contractually, you've got clients secured, good revenue streams from them. Your suppliers, negotiated good deals with them. So all those things that a buyer would find attractive are really things as an owner of a business you would find attractive.
And those are all long-term things, aren't they? It's not something you can just say, right, I'm going to sell the business next year. I need to start thinking about it. There's a long process by the sound of it to getting to the point where you've got a business that's attractive for sale.
Yeah, exactly. And the more attractive the business is for sale, the more profitable the business is going to be. So, as I say to a lot of people who ask about why do we need an exit plan, I say, well, don't you want to be running a business that's as attractive as possible? If you then choose to sell, you'll get a great price for it. If you choose to continue to run it for yourself, you'll be running a more profitable business. Yeah. So an exit plan doesn't mean that you've made a decision to sell. It just puts you in a great position to sell as and when you want to.
Just opens up the options.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah. So what's the very beginning of the process?
The process with most clients is a conversation about where they want to take the business. In its simplest terms, what are you running it for? For some people, it's a lifestyle business, and they're looking to secure sufficient income to look after themselves and their family. For others, they may have a grand plan that wish to retire at a certain age, or they have an aspiration to do something after they run their business, or even to go on and run a number of businesses and become a serial entrepreneur. Yeah. So it's really about getting that clarity of where the business wants to go as the first step.
And that kind of clarity from a conversation with you is going to be really helpful to anyone anyway, isn't it? Who's running their own business.
Yes. So, yes. Often you start a business through circumstance or opportunity. You don't necessarily have a grand plan set out for a number of years.
Indeed.
And as the day-to-day pressures of running the business sort of come upon you, the chance to sit back and think and plan properly start to get squeezed with the pressures of day-to-day running of the business. So a conversation in itself can be very valuable.
Yeah. And if you had one top tip for somebody watching this who's running their own business, what would it be, Ian?
Well, I would say that there's a great book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. One of those 7 habits is start with the end in mind. And my top tip to anyone running a business, whether they've just started it or they're well into a number of years of running the business, is to stop, think about what the end is, and start planning towards that end.
That's extremely good advice. And Ian, you have a website?
I do, yes. It's www.henchards.com, and I can be contacted on 01276 858199.
Ian, thank you so much. And I can heartily recommend the Stephen Covey book. I've read it several times. It's a really good read. And check out Ian's website. Ian, thank you so much for coming into the studio. I wish you every success.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. That's it. Bye for now.